My girlfriend, Katie, let's call her that for anonymity, and I met in college. It feels like it was just yesterday, but it's actually been 4 years since we first got together. From the very beginning, I knew she was special. She was shy, kind, and always seemed like she had a million thoughts running through her head. I was her first serious relationship, something I found endearing. Katie came from a strict religious background, and her parents had imposed a lot of restrictions on her, especially during high school. They didn't believe in dating or having relationships until after college, and sex before marriage was completely off the table. It wasn't something I felt strongly about, but I respected her convictions. Katie's connection to her parents is incredibly deep, so we both agreed to wait. We had our ups and downs, like any couple, but overall, our relationship was solid. In fact, I had been planning to propose soon. Within the next few months, actually. I had the ring picked out and was ready to start the next chapter of our lives together. I was head over heels in love with her. She was my world, and I genuinely thought we were going to spend the rest of our lives together. I'd even started thinking about how we'd tell our families, where we'd hold the wedding, and all those little details. I was all in. But everything changed last weekend. Katie has had a close male friend, Liam, since high school. He was one of those friends her parents never liked. Back in high school, he claimed to be gay, and that was part of the reason why Katie's parents were uncomfortable with their friendship. They just didn't trust him. Katie and Liam went to the same college, and she was thrilled because she'd have the chance to spend more time with him. I'll admit, I was never thrilled about the whole male best friend thing, but because Liam was supposedly gay, I pushed any concerns aside. Then, 2 years into our relationship, Liam came out as bisexual. That revelation made me uneasy. I didn't love the idea of them hanging out one-on-one anymore. There was something about the way he acted around her that never quite sat right with me. I finally brought it up with Katie, and I asked her to stop spending time with him alone. I wasn't trying to be controlling. It just didn't feel right. She wasn't happy about it, though. She accused me of being unsupportive and controlling, saying I was acting just like her parents. She was hurt, and it became the biggest argument we'd ever had in our relationship. After a lot of back and forth, we eventually compromised. She agreed to only hang out with Liam if his boyfriend was there too, or if it was a group setting. I didn't want to cut her off from her friends, but I also needed to feel comfortable. After we came to that agreement, though, we hardly saw Liam. His boyfriend broke up with him, and then Liam transferred to a different college the following summer. Katie stayed in touch with Liam and his group of friends online. They formed a gaming group on Discord, and Katie would often spend hours talking with them. Even though most of the group were guys, she reassured me that it was all innocent. Many of them had girlfriends, and she insisted nothing inappropriate was going on. I wanted to believe her. Fast forward to last weekend. It was Liam's birthday, and he invited Katie to his party. She hadn't seen him in 2 years and was really excited about it. Before agreeing to go, she came to me first and asked if I was okay with it. I appreciated that she checked in with me, and I told her that I trusted her. Besides, I had a weekend trip planned for work and would be gone from Friday to Sunday, so I wouldn't be able to go with her even if I wanted to. Katie assured me that it was just a low-key gathering with some of their mutual friends from the Discord server, including a few girls and Liam's girlfriend. With everything sounding innocent enough, I told her I had no problem with her going. The trouble started Saturday night. Katie had been good about keeping in touch throughout the day. She texted me when she was leaving for the party, when she arrived, and a couple of times during the evening. She told me she'd drive back home around 9 or 10. But then the text stopped. I noticed it was getting late but didn't want to seem overbearing, so I didn't text her again. I stayed up, checking her location on my phone to make sure she got home safely. She finally returned to her apartment at around 2 a.m. That was much later than we had talked about, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I figured she had just gotten caught up having fun with her friends. Sunday morning I called her, no answer. A few minutes later, she texted back, saying she had been sleeping and wasn't feeling well. She said she had a hangover, which was bizarre because Katie doesn't drink. In 4 years of being together, I had never seen her touch alcohol. I chalked it up to her being caught up in the party atmosphere and told her to drink some water. I then caught my flight back home. still a bit confused but trying not to overthink it. When I got back to my apartment later that day, I found Katie curled up in my bed, hiding under the covers. She has a key, but she rarely uses it since we usually come and go together. I asked her why she hadn't stayed at her place to rest, and why she hadn't told me she wasn't feeling well earlier. She didn't answer. All she said was that she didn't feel good and had been in bed ever since she got back. Over the next few days, Katie didn't leave my apartment. She called out of work, barely ate, and wouldn't talk much. I was concerned but didn't push her to open up. At the same time, my suspicion about what had happened at the party kept nagging at me. Then, late last night, Katie came out of my room crying hysterically. It was the first time she had left the bed in days, other than to use the bathroom. I rushed to comfort her, but it was clear something was seriously wrong. She was shaking and couldn't even get the words out at first. When she finally did, it shattered me. She told me she had made a terrible mistake at the party. She said she had somehow gotten really drunk by accident and wasn't in control of herself. Liam offered to drive her home, and a few of their mutual friends followed in another car to take Liam back after dropping Katie off. They helped her up to her apartment. And then, Katie confessed she had sex with them. All 4 men. She claimed she couldn't remember most of it and had been really out of it. She said she didn't know what was happening and felt sick ever since. Katie kept saying how much she loved me and that she didn't want to hurt me. But she had given away the virginity she had supposedly been saving for our marriage, not to me, but to 4 strangers at a party. She said she had wanted to tell me as soon as I got home, but couldn't find the courage. That's why she had been staying in my apartment, not wanting to face what she had done, but also not wanting to lose me. She begged me not to break up with her, pleaded with me not to send her back to her apartment. I didn't have the energy to argue, so I let her stay in my room, though I spent the night on the couch. I could hear her crying softly through the door. As for me, I didn't sleep at all. The betrayal was too much to process. How could someone I trusted so deeply, someone I had spent 4 years with, throw it all away for one night? I'm sitting at work now, but I haven't been able to focus. Part of me wants to kick her out the second I get home and never see her again. Part of me wants to hear her out, to see if there's anything left to salvage. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust her again. How do you recover from something like this? How do I even begin to figure out what to do next?